Many domestic issues come and go, but healthcare usually keeps its place at the top of the list. The challenge for a growing segment of the population is getting access to good care. Today, there are a number of organizations and private interests helping to make more options available for more people.
Native American populations have endured many changes over the centuries. A culture rich in history and tradition, it is also a culture that has faced many obstacles. For the more than 500,000 American Indians that live in the U.S. today, many challenges remain. One of the most concerning is the cancer rate within the population. Statistics show it is now the second leading cause of death among American Indians and Alaskan Natives, with the poorest 5-year survival from cancer in the nation.
Cancer continues to escalate among American Indians and Alaska Natives. It is the leading cause of death for Alaska Native women. It is the second leading cause of death for American Indians and Alaska Natives over age 45. It's incredibly high among Alaska Natives, Northern Plains and Southern Plains American Indians.
There are many factors that play a role in the low survival rate of Native Americans with cancer. Various cultural beliefs impact how many American Indians perceive the issue of cancer in their lives, with Native Americans preferring traditional medicine over or in combination with Western practices. Communication, economic, and psychosocial barriers also affect timely access to quality cancer care and programs.
Some of the most important barriers are really understanding that there's very few resources out there for people who actually need treatment. We have a lot of screening programs for people who are low income, but when it comes to actually getting treatment, we have a really hard time finding dollars. We also find that many people have stigma, they have biases against people who have cancer, and so people are afraid to talk about it, and so they don't come forward as early as they need to.
Seeing an urgent need within the Native American community was the inspiration behind the creation of the Native American Cancer Research Corporation. Dedicated to improving the lives of Native American cancer patients and survivors, the organization also works to reduce cancer incidence and mortality and to increase survival from cancer among Native Americans.
Native American Cancer Research Corporation, or NACR as we call it, was created in 1997, and it was to prevent cancer in American Indians, Alaska Natives, and to improve survivorship and quality of life. It came about basically because we were seeing no programs really focused on American Indians. American Indians typically do not discuss the word cancer, they don't use the word cancer. And we needed an organization where a cancer survivor could look in the phone book and see there's some place that can help me.
It is a mission that does not come without challenges. Lack of federal funding, economic downtimes, and the challenge of raising funds while trying to develop new programs makes for an ambitious endeavor. But it is one that NACR believes can and must be done.
There are so many challenges to providing services for Native Americans. On most reservations and in many urban areas, there aren't any services for Native Americans. And what this means is that by the time people actually try to get into services, that their cancer is very progressed and there are very little treatments that they can actually give them that make a difference. So 5 years after they've been diagnosed, many people have died that really didn't need to.
Twyla Garcia is one success story who is dedicating herself to inspiring other Native Americans with cancer. Diagnosed with breast cancer, Twyla found herself trying to connect to health services and gain access to care. Facing the treatment alone after the death of her husband, NACR navigators stepped in and became a source of support. Today, Twyla is a breast cancer survivor and an advocate for NACR.
When I first found out I had cancer, I felt so alone, but when I called the ladies from NACR, they stepped in and they helped me when Medicare and Medicaid wouldn't accept me, so they stepped in and helped me get help. Before I started my chemo, my husband passed away. And cancer is kind of scary, but NACR was there for me all the time.
Like many Native Americans, Twyla had many problems to overcome. One was just getting eligible for services. There are so many forms, many people didn't want to offer services to her, nobody wanted to pay for services, and so finally we had to intervene and say, okay, somebody has to pay for this treatment. And also, it was very difficult for her to really communicate her needs to her doctors and many other people. There just aren't enough culturally appropriate services out there.
The Davis family of the Lakota Sioux tribe is another family benefiting from the programs of NACR. 7-year-old Andrew is suffering from leukemia. His mother, Candace, is not only dealing with the difficulties of childhood cancer, but poverty as well.
My son was diagnosed with leukemia on 7/30/09. At that time, I didn't know what to do, what to think, and it was very hard because I had to make a very, very huge choice. It was the realization that my child was going to possibly die, and I needed to step in and put my emotions to the side and do what was best for him, which was try to fight this cancer that he had. And at that time, I ended up losing my job. At the same time, I ended up losing my husband. And the part that was very hard was making the decision to go ahead with this very aggressive treatment. September 2009 was the very hardest month for us because we were hospitalized for 45 days. My child appendix ruptured from all the chemo. He got influenza A, influenza B. He got a viral infection. He had seizures just because the chemotherapy was so intense that his little body was trying to fight at 5 years old. And I was able to reach out to the Native American Cancer Research, and they just embraced me to know that it's okay. I could cry, I can meet with them, go to different therapy places, different circles that they had, just the community that they had there. It really helped my whole family.
One of the hardest things was when they rushed me to the emergency room and I couldn't walk. And then the second thing is when I heard that they said I could go home and pass away in 2 weeks, or either take severe chemo in my body and I could die by that too. Because I didn't want to die because I was too young to die.
Childhood cancer is devastating. When you live in poverty, it is even more so. The majority of our people are losing their jobs, losing their homes, everything they can to address childhood cancer. Our children are being misdiagnosed. The symptoms look like diabetes. They're not getting into care soon enough to be able to impact their quality of life and survival.
Cancer patients who evolve into thrivers continue to inspire the many committed people working tirelessly to see NACR fulfill its mission. By educating Native Americans about cancer prevention and healthier lifestyles to help them access timely quality health care, NACR is a bridge between healthcare agencies and Native communities.
Native navigation is a cultural bridge. The roots of navigation, I believe, run deep in American Indian culture. It's the circle of family, the circle of friends that surround a patient when they're ill and walk them to freedom, walk them to healing. We, Native American Cancer Research, have kind of revived those traditional healings with our Native navigators who work with patients. We mediate between the hospital and the patient. We mediate between the patient and the family sometimes. And we educate everyone to help the patient through the cancer journey so that their outlook is the best it can be and that the family can heal through the experience.
NACR needs funding and support to continue its current quality work and to expand its work into many other greatly needed areas.
NACR wants to make sure that every reservation and most urban areas that have enough Native Americans living in them have access to cancer navigation services, because it's so hard to get into the right hospital and fill all the right forms. People really need that kind of support. And I think the second thing we really want to do is to improve our online services so that we can reach everybody, and especially Native Americans in the United States, so that they can get the answers to the questions that they need and they can find resources in their local community.
To find out more about Native American Cancer Research Corporation, please visit www.natamcancer.org.